Thank you. I would like to continue with the topic of business with our next question. Mr. Ernion, what policies will you pursue to help create more jobs and improve economic development efforts in South Dakota?
One of the things I think that all of you are familiar with is what's happening up in North Dakota. The oil fields up there. That's helped our industry out west with the supplies that we're shipping up there. One thing that you may not be aware of, in South Dakota, we have three principal strata formations up here. We found oil in two of those strata formations. We have drilled approximately about 1,300 wells, and we are finding oil in the southwest corner of South Dakota. To take the thought process, in North Dakota this year, they had about $1 billion added to the revenue with this oil. The second thing that they're projecting is this year, it's coming, over $2 to $3 billion. To have some sort of net development like this at the fall of the hand would be just a wonderful thing for South Dakota. The next thing that would be is actually be in the construction industry, which I'm very familiar with. We're starting to come back from the Sioux Falls, seats are up, houses are being built, and it is spreading throughout the community and all the other outfits that are part of the construction industry that are helping us. So that is the two areas that I think that we can really construct on.
Thank you. Mr. Schreiber.
I have a little experience from early in my life with the oil booms. I moved with my family from G to Kimball, Nebraska when I was 4 years old, when the oil boom was going on in western Nebraska. It grew like crazy. We lived in a new house. There was money everywhere. Everybody was making money. You go back there now, 40 years later, and there are ghost towns everywhere. The oil boom is not a permanent solution. It's a short-term fix. On the other hand, infrastructure is the way to go as far as getting the best return on your dollar of investment for a state. Infrastructure increases the economy, the GDP, the S&P, the statewide, in direct proportion to the amount that's put into it. And that money stays here, that value stays here. And it's something that increases the ability of the existing businesses in the state and new businesses that might come in to compete. That includes roads, rail, communications, wind energy, transmission, anything that's related to those infrastructure projects is the best thing that the state can invest in.
Thank you. Mr. Lassiter.
I disagree slightly with that. I think that when you have suffering infrastructure that's actually inhibiting movement, then you would probably get a decent return on those dollars. But when we have the type of infrastructure that we have here, where many of the roads and interstates are always being redone, and we can't even get our county roads done, I would like to see more development done on those local roads, less federal money spent on redoing interstates that may not even need it. And that's one of those federal issues that we all get frustrated about. Why do they send the money here and it's tied up? And that's always a frustrating thing. But as far as attracting economic development in South Dakota, what I'd like to see is us passing laws that would encourage different types of energy and technology companies to establish here, making sure that they're doing things safely, but we can be a leader in innovation. There's different types of new transportation that people need to test out before it can be economically viable, and so we could at least have laws that would allow them to come in and try some of those things here. And I'll leave it there for now.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed.
Well, this will fall back on economic development a little bit. I believe we need proper funding, economic development in the state, and I believe the state does need to give off proper incentives to businesses to help compete with the other states. I think we also need to find a way to be able to offer better and cheaper loans for small businesses. Small businesses is what drives the economy in most of the small communities in the state of South Dakota. It's not the large businesses. Small Business Administration and some of the other localized government agencies like CFOG do have loan programs set up, but they do have an awful tough criteria criteria to get into those. There are good programs, but I think we can find something that's a little more doable for some of the small businesses, because it's a tough endeavor for people to be looking at, starting their own business and taking out a loan and hiring a couple of employees to do that. And while I don't think we need to subsidize everybody and everything they want to do either, I do believe that there should be proper loan programs out there. And I do believe the state needs to spend some more money in the infrastructure of the state, which will overall increase our economic opportunities here between roads, railroads, and water. Wilson Park is a great example of what that has done for the communities that are now hooked up to that and give them a stable supply of water, which will allow them to be able to expand some business opportunities there also.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
This one has me a bit confused. South Dakota has some of the best tax policies in the nation as far as being business friendly, but yet businesses don't seem to be coming. Economic development would help, but then every state has economic development, how you compete against every state. Every state is doing the same thing. I don't want to get into bidding war against Minnesota or Iowa, try to bring that company here. One thing that I think that we are missing out on is wind energy. Past few times I've driven through Minnesota on the interstate, that's about all you see in the first half of the state. And we have just as much wind in South Dakota as they have in Minnesota. And we've also got 4 dams producing electricity. So we have the infrastructure to get that electricity from windmills to the areas that need it. I think that could be one way where we could put some people to work and also get money into the local landowners.
Thank you. Mr. Otto, you have 30 seconds.
It's in on the level I'm not referring to the bus stop. I was referring to actual stream of revenue coming in on a constant basis. One thing that one could do for that kind of thing, instead of dropping into the general fund, is actually put it aside for a special project itself that you should fund.
Thank you. Mr. Schreiber.
I'm fortunate enough to be friends with someone who's a lobbyist for the rural electrical and distribution systems in the country. And discussions with some of the people in the electrical industry says that even more than a distribution system for our wind energy, what we need is an innovative approach to managing that distribution. One thing the state could do, perhaps, is to fund things like incubators for people who would be innovating kind of technology, sort of software and switching processes that would facilitate that. That would be a huge investment for the state of South Dakota to promote that sort of technology that would help the entire nation.
Thank you. Mr. Lateral.
Another thing that I'd like to see was giving our local school districts the freedom and the rewards for experimenting and innovating in education. And sometimes the structure we have is encouraging people not to take those kinds of risks, because if they fail, then they lose their job, or they'll be looked on as a failure by the state legislature for trying that thing. So I would like to encourage that kind of spirit of entrepreneurism in education in the local districts from the state level. I would like to see that attitude from the state legislatures towards local education. I think that will help a lot with economic development, because people will get new ways of learning and become excited about staying in the state, starting businesses here, and working here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan.
And to clarify a little bit on the economic development incentives, I do believe it's important to offer the incentives up front to help businesses get started, maybe standing on their own 2 feet a little bit, but I'm not in favor of continuing to subsidize them for long periods of times. I love renewable energies. One small problem with them so far has been they're not being able to stand on their own 2 feet. I don't know how long we can continue to subsidize programs. They're not the only ones, but I do believe that wind energy and ethanol are great programs, and I think it helps that people stay South Dakota greatly, but at some point in time, I do believe they are going to have to stand on their own feet, and industry either.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
I have nothing further to add.
All right, thank you.